What if I told you that there are places where husbands don't mind letting their wives have fun with their friends? Or are you curious about the infamous Snake Village? Do you think you could handle spending a day there? A village teeming with snakes where the locals and the reptiles live side by side as neighbors. Each village has customs and traditions that will make you question what's real. Prepare yourself as we reveal the top 9 strangest villages on the planet. Places so unusual you'd have to see them to believe them. Let's take a trip to a remote village in Tanzania, where the customs around marriage and relationships are unlike anything you've probably heard before. Welcome to the village of Gives Wives. Now imagine living in a place where giving a wife is as casual as asking for a cup of sugar. No, really, in this village the concept of Gives Wives isn't taboo, it's a tradition embedded into their social norms. In this Tanzanian village, husbands are known for their, let's say, generous nature. They are willing to give their wives to other men, as long as they follow certain rules. One critical rule is that the man giving the wife must be of similar age. And here's an interesting twist. If a husband catches them together, he's expected to stay cool and composed. No yelling, no getting upset, just simply understanding that this is part of their cultural practice. When a man wants to give a wife, he simply says, "I'll confide in your wife." But what's life like here beyond these intriguing customs? Well, life is far from luxurious. Their homes are simple, built entirely from clay, with no cement or bricks to hold them together. Inside, the walls aren't adorned with framed pictures or fancy decor, but with mirrors, which serve both as decorations and for reflection. The interiors of these homes are as basic as it gets. There's a bed where clothes hang, and no wardrobes to keep them neatly folded. For meals, the locals rely on cassava flour, which they eat by dipping, much like how it's done in India. As for water, they collect rainwater using whatever cans are available. Electricity is a rare luxury here. They rely mainly on solar panels to keep things running. So would you try to give a wife? Does this tradition seem like an act of generosity, or is it something else entirely? Would you even consider visiting a place like this? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. It's time to crank up the intensity as we journey into a place that's not for the faint of heart, the legendary Snake Village. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to live in a place where hundreds of slithering serpents roam freely, then buckle up, because this village will leave you both fascinated and maybe even a bit uneasy. In a remote village in Tanzania, members of the jeweler tribe handle snakes like household pets. For them, these slithering creatures are not feared but respected, almost as friends. Men, women, and even children are at ease with these venomous reptiles. Picture this. They let snakes slither across their faces, hold them in their mouths, and casually toss them into bags. Their confident challenge? Bet you can't bite me. The jeweler people carefully handle various types of snakes, including green snakes and other species known for their strong defenses. To minimize the risk of harm, young snakes are gently caught from their natural environment, and trained handlers use specialized techniques to manage the snakes safely. In these remote villages, residents perform a distinctive snake dance. However, it's not just a form of entertainment. This dance serves an educational purpose, teaching locals about the behavior and potential dangers of these reptiles. By combining tradition and safety, they transform a high-stakes performance into an important survival lesson. What happens if someone gets bitten? In these communities, residents don't immediately seek medical help, as the nearest healthcare center is often miles away. Instead, they rely on traditional herbal remedies that have been passed down through generations. Interestingly, it's not only in Tanzania where people and snakes coexist so closely. Thailand also has its own unique snake village, Bangkok Sang in Khon Sen province. Here, more than 140 households each keep at least one snake, including cobras. The snakes are kept in wooden boxes and are released during performances. Take Boule, a 72-year-old local with decades of snake handling experience. Despite the risks and close calls, the villagers treat the snakes almost like family. When a snake dies, it is honored in temples, reflecting the village's profound respect for these animals. Let me ask you, do you use a gas stove, a wood stove, or an electric stove? Because in the next village, they don't need any stove at all, as the entire area has been spontaneously burning for half a century. But before we get started, I have a 10-second request for all of you. If you can help us out, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you'll always be the first to get our new videos and exciting content. This would mean a lot to us. In return, we promise to keep making this show even better for you. Imagine a place where the ground has been burning for over 50 years, and the flames just won't quit, no matter what. Dongguan Village in Chongqing, China, also known as the spontaneously combusting village, has a bizarre phenomenon that covers an area that's surprisingly small, just about 4 square meters. Yet, it holds more than a dozen holes of different sizes, all burning fiercely. The sight of flickering flames emerging from the earth is both eerie and mesmerizing, and here's the kicker: these flames never seem to go out, even when the rains pour down. According to the villagers, this mysterious burning started around 50 years ago. Legend has it that an oil exploration team came here back in the day searching for natural gas. But after some digging, they found the area unsuitable for extraction and decided to seal the well. Well, it turns out Mother Nature had other plans. Despite the team's efforts, natural gas kept seeping to the surface, sparking the flames that have never stopped since. For the villagers, this strange phenomenon has become a part of daily life. They've even started using these flames to boil water and cook outside, taking advantage of this never-ending source of heat. It might sound crazy, but hey, why waste a perfectly good fire, right? Interestingly, Dongguan isn't the only place where the land burns in defiance of nature. Let's take a quick detour to Yukon in northeast Russia, a village known for being the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Temperatures here can plummet to a bone-chilling -60 degrees Celsius. Yet even in this frozen wasteland, there are fires that never stop burning. In Yukon, the fires burn beneath the snow, fueled by an abundance of peat and methane gas trapped in the ground. While the surface fires have long been extinguished, the flames below still smolder quietly beneath the thick layer of ice. When the snow melts, these hidden fires can rise, spreading their heat once more. It's hard to wrap your head around, isn't it? In one village, flames rage on despite heavy rains. In another, they burn quietly under sheets of ice. These are places where nature defies logic, where you'd be forgiven for thinking that the earth itself is alive, breathing fire through the cracks. Would you dare to visit a village where the ground beneath your feet is hot enough to cook your dinner? Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned, because next up we're venturing into a village that trades rice for dead mosquitoes. The burning village in China probably still has mosquitoes. I wonder if they trade rice for dead mosquitoes, like the neighboring village. Back in 2019, the village of Alien in Bataan Province, Philippines, was facing a significant challenge. Mosquitoes were swarming everywhere, bringing with them a dangerous threat: dengue fever. The numbers were alarming. From January to July of that year, there were an estimated 5,000 cases of dengue fever each week. The situation was critical, and something had to be done. Enter Marito and Balan, the village chief, with an innovative idea. He launched a campaign that was simple yet effective. For every 200 dead mosquitoes collected, the village would reward the collector with 1 kilogram of rice. It was a clever initiative that turned a community problem into an opportunity for the villagers. But catching mosquitoes isn't easy, right? That's why the villagers adopted a special trick. They placed dishes filled with cooking oil around their homes. Mosquitoes would land on the oil, get trapped, and die. It was a smart way to turn a deadly nuisance into a community-wide effort to combat the spread of disease. The campaign worked wonders, drastically reducing the mosquito population and curbing the spread of dengue fever. However, as the campaign grew in popularity, it sparked an unusual concern. What if someone tried to game the system by raising mosquitoes just to trade them for rice? Now, let's take a detour to Duin Village in China, a place surrounded by mystery. Despite having all the conditions that mosquitoes love, like ponds and stagnant water, none can be found here. Locals attribute this to a frog-shaped stone that many of them worship. According to legend, the stone's open mouth faces the village, devouring any mosquitoes that dare to approach. But there's another theory. Some locals believe it might have something to do with how they manage their waste. They bury their trash on a hillside near the village, potentially creating an environment unsuitable for mosquitoes. However, none of these explanations have been scientifically proven. In Lamboy, there's a colorful artificial village that's unlike anything you've seen before. This is not your typical village on land, but a combination of traditional Chinese and Western styles, all located on a large bridge over a river. Walking along and seeing all sorts of unique decorations, like a school bus hanging in midair, puppets perched along the sides, and even a miniature version of the famous Christ the Redeemer statue from Rio, it's a sight to behold. But while it's impressive, it's also sparked a fair bit of controversy. Netizens can't help but wonder, is this even safe? With so much weight being supported on a narrow bridge, there's always the lingering question, what if it collapses? And let's be real, could you even sleep comfortably knowing you're hanging over a river with just a bridge beneath you? The truth is that no one actually lives here. The entire village is purely a tourist attraction, and while it's hard to imagine anyone setting up permanent residence here, you've got to admit the engineering behind this bridge is impressive. To support the entire structure, along with all those eye-catching decorations, takes some serious architectural planning. We find village number 8, where all the villagers disappeared overnight. Solman Village, also known as the Ghost Village, located in the northern New Territories of Hong Kong. According to local legends, a man set out one day to perform a ceremonial ritual in a place called Solan Pun. When he arrived in the village, he discovered something truly puzzling. Nearly 100 villagers seemed to have disappeared without any apparent reason. Strangely, the village's belongings were still neatly in place, food was already prepared for a gathering, and even the livestock were calmly wandering around as if nothing unusual had happened. However, there wasn't a single person to be found. The village of Tualabon earned a unique nickname which translates to the compass is locked because of a strange phenomenon. All the compasses in the area seemed to stop working. It felt as though the entire village was isolated in its own world, unexplained and unreachable. After the unexplained disappearance of residents, rumors began to spread. Some believed health had led the villagers to leave while others speculated about military involvement. But one thing everyone agreed on. No one could remember who disappeared first, only that there were increasingly frequent funerals. Stories emerged of a mysterious individual known locally as the Barefoot Traveler. He once visited a neighbor's home but fell ill soon after returning to his own house. His health rapidly declined, and he was unable to speak before passing away. His passing marked the start of a series of unexplained illnesses. The peculiar events didn't stop there. A year later, the grandmother of a woman named Moran had an unforgettable experience. While in her home, she suddenly felt dizzy and barely made it back to her bed before collapsing. Villagers whispered that it felt as though the village itself was holding her down. It wasn't just isolated to the elderly. One night, several villagers fainted while walking down the streets, despite showing no visible signs of injury. Some who managed to make it home also collapsed, losing consciousness soon after. Just moments before, they had been laughing and enjoying conversations with their neighbors. There were multiple instances where family members passed away within short spans of time, a couple within a month of each other, siblings in their sleep. Tragically, they did not survive. It felt as if an unexplained force was silently affecting the village. Driven by curiosity, a researcher named Tran Van Hai decided to investigate. He shared his findings on a local radio program, pointing to a dark history decades earlier. A nearby village called Gangu Theo experienced a tragedy during a boat trip, leading to its abandonment. Over time, the area became a magnet for thrill-seekers interested in ghost stories and haunted sites. Despite these findings and countless speculations, the mystery behind Tualabon remains unsolved. We're heading to Salinas Village in the Dominican Republic, a place known for a rare genetic condition. In the town of Salinas, a rare biological phenomenon has intrigued locals and researchers for many years. Children born with typical female physical traits undergo a unique developmental change during puberty, which leads to the appearance of male physical characteristics. This change is the result of a specific genetic condition known to affect their physical development during adolescence. There is a rare phenomenon that affects approximately 1 in every 90 girls born in the village. Although it might sound like a story straight out of fiction, this occurrence is an accepted and recognized part of life for the people here. Due to its uniqueness, the village has earned a distinctive nickname related to this transformation. Take Johnny, for example, who was born as Phil Fick. Growing up, Fick's life seemed typical until unexpected changes began around puberty. As these changes progressed, Johnny developed male characteristics, including a deeper voice and physiological shifts, leading to a new identity. Johnny's experience wasn't without challenges. Growing up with one identity and transitioning to another brought confusion and feelings of being different. This village brings to mind another insane location, a place known as the most inconvenient convenience store in the world. Picture this, a 2-square-meter wooden hut hanging off the side of a 120-meter-high cliff in Hunan, China. It's tiny. Just enough room for one person to sit inside and sell drinks or snacks to passing climbers. But here's the catch. This little store has no restroom, so if the staff need a bathroom break, they've got to rappel down the cliff. Imagine waking up getting ready for work and then having to climb 120 meters just to clock in. And if you're a visitor in need of some refreshments, well, you'll have to climb a set of iron steps bolted into the vertical rock face with only some fixed cables for support. Today we're taking you straight into the heart of Nga, a province in Vietnam, locally known by a nickname that might surprise you, the Fake Monk Village. Nha Dong is a poverty-stricken area where barren land forces locals to find creative ways to survive. As you walk through its narrow alleys, you might notice people draped in scarves, moving slowly with a calm demeanor. At first glance, they could be mistaken for humble monks, but looks can be deceiving. In Nha Dong, some villagers pose as monks or nuns dressed in traditional robes and carrying bags of incense for sale. However, their approach isn't about earning a quick profit. They maintain detailed records of buyers, presenting it as part of a charitable initiative. Buyers are told their names are added to a merit list, supposedly kept by the temple. Many find it hard to resist the allure of spiritual significance. Who wouldn't want their name associated with generosity? People end up paying 2 or 3 times the regular price of incense, believing they're buying blessings or earning goodwill. Some villagers go a step further, knocking on doors and making heartfelt pleas for charitable donations. With convincing stories and emotional appeals, they often manage to open the wallets of well-meaning locals, only to later reveal that these so-called monks were, in fact, skilled imposters. The sums involved are not small either. Many donors part with the equivalent of approximately $4 to $8 each time they're approached. Many of these so-called fake monks are ordinary farmers from Nha Dong who spend months traveling around the country collecting money and selling incense before returning home. Surprisingly, this can be quite lucrative. For example, Vok, a woman born in 1981 in Thun Mawai and Ji Dong, pretended to be a nun for 3 years and managed to build a villa with the money she earned. Meanwhile, her husband just stayed home. Similarly, Angie and Vani, after a period of pretending to be monks, returned with enough money to buy both a house and a car. If you like the unusual, this village will leave you in awe. Let's go back to Vietnam, where people are famous for growing giant melons. So, what makes these melons so special? For starters, they're not your typical grocery store variety. Each of these unique melons can weigh anywhere from 50 to 70 kilograms, with some even tipping the scales at a whopping 100 kilograms. They stand at 60 to 96 centimeters in height, and can have a circumference of up to 1.5 meters. Just imagine a fruit so massive that a kid can't even wrap their arms around it, but that's not all. During peak season, it's hard to find a melon here that weighs less than 100 kilograms. Now, with each vine carrying between 50 to 100 melons, the total weight of a single vine can reach up to 6 tons. Harvesting these giants isn't a one-person job. It takes a whole team and some sturdy trellises to handle the load. What's even more fascinating is the dedication of these villages to preserving their melon-growing tradition. Despite facing multiple displacements due to war, the people of Trant TR have always held on to their precious melon seeds. These seeds are the lifeblood of their tradition and have been passed down through generations. Interestingly, these seeds seem to have a special connection to the soil in this hamlet. When planted elsewhere, the melons grow to only a fraction of their size, which has left locals and visitors equally intrigued. But cultivating these gigantic melons isn't just a matter of preserving tradition, it's a highly profitable venture. When harvest time arrives, these melons can fetch between $20 and $30, and that's not the only benefit. Each melon vine can also produce several liters of refreshing water, which the villagers sell, translating to about $125 per liter. So, what do you think? Could you handle the challenge of harvesting a melon the size of a small car? And would you be curious enough to taste the water from one of these giants? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's hear if anyone's brave enough to face a 100-kilogram melon in a place with mysterious unsolved cases.